All right, welcome to episode 13 of AdTalk by AdClass. It's me, Dakota. I'm here with Caleb and Matthew. How you guys doing today?
What's up, guys? What is up? Excited to chat through some pretty monster campaigns, some big spendas, if you will.
Hey, big spenda.
A big spenda. Yeah. How are you, Matthew?
I'm doing great, guys. Good to see you.
Yeah.
I'm excited to review some crazy things through history and what we can learn from it. But yeah, how are you guys doing?
You know, it's Monday, and you know what that means. Start of another great week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those people that loves Monday. I don't know about you guys, but like Monday comes around, I'm like, ooh, all right, we get another chance.
I like it. I like Mondays too. I think the fact, like, if you like Mondays, I think it's a sign that you enjoy what you do, which I think is an important part of life.
Do you get Sunday scaries, Caleb?
No.
You don't get Sunday scaries? Like on Sunday, you like at any point you're not like, oh, I gotta work tomorrow. Like, do you ever feel that?
No, I think I like on Sundays I'll have thoughts that come to my brain like, oh, this like Monday's tomorrow, like I have to work, so I should probably check up on this or this. I get those sorts of thoughts, but it's not like a scary thing of like, oh no, I like tomorrow's coming. It's more just like me mentally prepping for the week ahead, I think. So
when was the last time you did get Sunday scaries? Let's put it that way. And Matthew, you're not allowed to answer this question because you work at our company. So I don't want to hear about your Sunday scares. No, just
Every week.
my worst. And I wasn't even Sunday scaries because when I worked this job, the schedule was changed every week. So it couldn't be Sunday scaries. No, it's not cheesecake. You think it might be cheesecake, but no, that wasn't when I was there. It was when I was working the front desk at Marriott. That was where I was like I got to a point where I was just like dreading it. It's like because so here's the deal is like working the front desk at a resort sounds cool because you're like, oh, I get to be at a resort, like that's where people vacation or whatever. It's insanely low pay. Like you're making barely over minimum wage. When you're working the front desk, you either have to get there super early, like 5-6 a.m., or you're working super late, like 11 o'clock at night, getting off shift. And then the entire time, all you're doing is just listening to people complain about stuff.
Right. And answering the phone when something doesn't work or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, I've always felt so bad for the front desk people at night, especially. Like, I feel like when JC and I travel, we're always checking in at like 11 p.m. or something. And that person is just sitting there, like soullessly staring into the void. And like, they're like, no one's walking in. Like, they're only just there for like the 3 people that are going to show up that night. And whatever scary people try to enter the hotel that they have to like shoo away, you know, because it's like midnight and people are like trying to get in. I don't know. It's such a interesting.
Night shift gets paid more, so like they get paid. I feel like it's like time and a half. I think so. You do make more money on the night shift, but the whole job was just not fun. Like I did it for a year and I was like, I can't do this. You know what I mean? And like the like manager like of the resort, like the front desk manager. You know, he'd been there for like 20 years and it's like, oh yeah, I finally made it to manager after I was here for like 12 years. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, there is another path for me to succeed in this world.
So that's how you got into advertising but long story short, you had Sunday scaries at a job where you had actually studied for that, right? And at a certain point you're like, wait, I see my future in front of me in this manager's path. And he did this thing that I hate right now for 20 years before he became manager. That dude, it's the same thing for me. That's what teaching was. Like Sunday scaries when I was teaching, so bad. Like literally Saturday, I would start to get Sunday scaries that Sunday was the last day of the weekend and that Monday was coming after that, right? And it's because of the same thing, bro. Like I saw older teachers who had been doing it for 30, 40 years were about to retire. And I just saw my future in front of me of like, I'm going to do this every single day for the rest of my life. I can't do this, right? There's certain people that can, and more power to them. But for me, Sunday scaries were directly in correlation with like the type of work that I couldn't do, right? And me seeing that it was a dead end for me.
Exactly.
But anyways, I digress. We're talking about advertising today, but I wanted to just make note of the fact that it's Monday and we're here recording the pod because this is fun for us, right? We get to show up to this. So thank you for all the listeners at home. We're so pumped that we get to keep making this content for you. And Matthew is going to walk us through some of the top spending advertising campaigns in the history of marketing today. So we're going to chat through them. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be good fun. One thing that I do a lot when I don't get Sunday Scaries, and I'm paid to say that, which is great. One thing I do a lot is make little like YouTube compilations of pump up stuff. So I've got a music playlist. I've got a movie scenes playlist if I'm feeling like low on creative juice and that kind of stuff.
Wait, you gotta name like the top one. Like, what's your go-to if you're really down in the dumps? I know mine. I've got one.
Oh my gosh. If I'm really down the dumps and I just need firing up, man, probably the bar scene in Good Will Hunting.
Oh yeah.
I would probably steal that from you.
I love that. You like apples?
Yeah, exactly. I got a number. How do you like them apples?
I got a number. Dude, that's a great scene. Yeah, mine is Rocky. I want to say I can't remember which Rocky it's from, but it's just like a motivational pep talk that Rocky's given somebody on the street. It might be Rocky Balboa actually, and it might be him talking to somebody that's younger. I'll have to find it, but there's just so many like good scenes in the Rocky movies that just get you hyped on life.
Yeah, and Caleb's obviously is Bambi's mom being shot. So
yeah, well, Caleb's a rare breed, Yeah, he gets motivated. He gets motivated by the things in the world that are unjust and that he needs to go correct.
Oh my gosh!
Exactly. He's like, that deer shouldn't be on the front of that truck. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
No. I don't know if I have like a hype up thing. I don't think I do.
Gladiator? Come on, it would be Gladiator.
That's true. Yeah, but I mean, like,
are you not entertained?
I do love that movie so much, but like, I wouldn't pull that up if I was feeling down in the dumps as like I need to feel better, so let me pull up a movie scene. I don't know. I mean, do you guys do that? Is that like that's what you do? You pull up movie scenes if you're not feeling good?
Yeah,
Matt's more of a Matthew thing. For me, it's music. For me, I'm putting on like something either. So this might be my Enneagram 8, right? Because where I go when I'm down in the dumps is usually my self-belief has like faltered in some way. So I'm like, how can I get back to the place where I believe that I can do this and that like nothing can stop me? So I find songs that are like very ego driven, like, like started from the bottom, now we're here, right? Something like that. If I'm like at the gym and I throw something like that on, I'm like, oh man, watch out world. Right. Yeah. Because I can believe in myself again.
That's amazing.
So that's kind of mine, but it's different for everybody, I think.
Well, I also have a playlist of ads that sort of give me inspiration as well, which is where this idea for this episode came from, which was, I spend a lot of the time writing copy for ads and like trying to say the same thing over and over again. Sometimes you just run out of ways to say the same thing over and over again. So I have a playlist of ads, and a lot of them are like the biggest ads ever, basically.
Heck yeah.
So I thought it would be fun if we like run through a few of them and think about like how they've impacted the advertising world and also just like wider culture in general, what they're trying to communicate and what sets them apart and what we can take from them, basically. So if you're into it, then let's get to it.
Let's do it.
This first one's for Dakota, especially with his newfound passion in life.
I started running last week for the people at home. I've run 3 times now, so I wouldn't call it a passion yet, but hey, you got to start somewhere, right?
Hey, you woke up one day and you thought, what did you think? Just do it.
Just do it, dude.
Oh my gosh.
I run 17 miles every morning. People ask me how I keep my teeth from chattering in the wintertime. I leave them in my locker.
Just do it, baby.
What was that like? One of their first ever Just Do It ads? I mean, like
that was in 1988.
Did it say Just Do It anywhere in the ad?
At the end.
Yeah, at the end.
Oh, on the text?
Yeah, on the text. Yeah.
Okay. I missed that. What did he say at the end? People ask me how I keep my teeth from chattering. He said something about his locker. What did he say?
He said that I leave them in my locker. Like he leaves his teeth in his locker.
Okay. I missed that completely. I like it.
So good.
Dude, just do it, bro. That hypes me up.
Mm-hmm.
Shia LaBeouf style.
He took it to a new level, man. Green screen and off.
Do it.
I still to this day.
I'm not sure he was sponsored by Nike.
I still to this day I'm like, what was that? Because like really, what was that? You know what I mean?
He made that for Matthew, dude. When he gets his Sunday scaries, that's what he made it for.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's crazy.
He's like holding his hand out and he's like, just do it.
Yeah. Matthew, can you give us the context of this Nike campaign? So obviously we all know Just Do It Today, right? Like that is quintessential Nike. But like this is where it started basically, right? And so do you know any more context on kind of the whole thing?
Yeah, so this is the first like video commercial it was used in, but it like spanned back a little bit before this was used. If you believe, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Air, which came out this year.
Super good.
But if you believe the story, then it's taken from a serial killer who's about to be electrocuted by the state.
What?
And they ask him for any final words, and he says, "Just do it."
Just do it.
So,
love that.
If you believe that angle, then that's kind of dark. But yeah, Nike obviously started out as like primarily a running company before they like branched into basketball and like major sports. So this guy who's been running 17 miles every morning, he's an 80-year-old, he gets up and he just does it.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the leaving the teeth in the locker. He's not letting science stop him.
And Nike, which is the correct pronunciation, by the way, Nike, they started as a running company primarily, right? Like, and that was kind of the concept of the Air movie. If you guys haven't watched it, Caleb, I know you haven't. Highly, highly, highly recommend this movie. So well done. But the concept was sort of like of this movie was that they were trying to find people to sign for their shoe brand for the NBA, and they were like the last pick always. It was always Converse and Adidas, Converse primarily, and Nike was like nowhere to be seen in the NBA scene. So they were trying to get Michael Jordan. The whole premise was like they're trying to get Michael Jordan to sign, but this was before Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan, right? Like basically he was like the up and comer college kid, and this guy put it all on the line and was like, no, this is the guy, right? And so basically that's now Nike is the quintessential basketball shoe brand. It all started with Michael Jordan. He became the brand, right? Well, Nike at this time of this commercial was primarily running, so it makes sense that this commercial is running focused, because I think that was, and they still make great running shoes, but that was like what they were at this point in time, was running shoe focused. I love the campaign because I feel like that tagline sort of like spearheaded all these companies figuring out what is our purpose, right? Because just do it isn't like it's not like a sales related tagline at all, right? Like it's much more a purpose, like motivation related thing. It's like, how do we take our brand, which just sells a product, and actually make it mean something to people? And they did it powerfully.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It still lives on, and it marries nicely with, I'll say, Nike, because
thank you.
Pander to my bosses who I don't get Sunday scares from.
Well, what does the CEO call it?
Well, he's American too, so you're all wrong. But
he created the company, so we should probably listen to how he says it.
Yeah, but Britain's created America. So.
Oh my gosh! Here we go.
I love it. Yeah, we should still be paying taxes. We should.
That's so true, man. I pay taxes. I don't get to vote, so it's all flipped on me. But Nike is, the goddess of victory. Yes. You don't win unless you just do it. Just that entire brand messaging, I just feel like has really just ingrained itself in the culture, which is really cool.
I love that. And it sort of speaks to like the essence of like winning, like it sort of rewrites what winning is too, in some way, shape or form. Like this guy who's 70 or whatever, 80, and he's running however many miles every morning. he's winning in his own life. He's not competing against anyone, but he's winning by just doing the thing that he set out to do. And it's like that sort of idea of like consistency and like pushing yourself and just getting out there and doing something is better than not. And I don't know, it speaks to me as an entrepreneur, but I feel like it speaks to athletes around the world of like, this is why we do it, just to do it. The act of doing it is the thing, right? I don't know. I love that. I feel like there are other commercials. What was the Nike one that was like earth shattering? There was another Just Do It commercial later on.
Yeah, that was the one with Colin Kaepernick. When it's going through like, don't just be a girl from Compton playing tennis.
Yes.
Like, be the best to ever do it. All this kind of stuff. And Shaq. I can't remember the Seahawks linebacker's name, who only has one hand. It's like, even if you have only one hand, don't just watch football, play it.
Yep.
You know, and just sacrifice for the sake of doing it and doing it for the right reasons. So, you know, it's something they've lent on a lot over the past going on 50 years at this point. And it's just continues to just resonate really strongly. And, you know, we'll look at some other ones that play into the emotional element of a brand and messaging and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like, you know, it's just something that's going to stick around forever, I feel like.
Well, do you think that so I agree completely. It's an amazing campaign, but I think what Nike has done really well, alluding back to Michael Jordan, is they've paired these campaigns with the right athletes at the right moment. So Caleb, I know you don't know much about golf, for example, but like Tiger Woods, #1 golfer of all time, arguably, Nike sponsored, right? Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Nike sponsored, right? Like if you kind of just pick the sport, they've paired these incredible campaigns of purpose with the right athlete that typically is like helps spearhead insane growth. And not to spoil the Air movie for anyone, but this is just common knowledge. Michael Jordan was the first athlete to basically get rev share for the brand that he helped create with Nike. And that was like mind-boggling for them at the time. And so that kind of ushered in this new era of like, how can we use influencers really? Like, how can we do influencer marketing with our brand in a way that causes people to build trust with it? If you see Michael Jordan wearing Air Jordans and also being the best basketball player of all time, innately, you're going to want to wear Air Jordans if you play basketball, right? Like that is just it. It's the same with golf. Every single, there was quintessential moments of Tiger Woods' golf ball slowly rolling into the cup to win a tournament. And what's on it? The Nike swoosh, right?
Yep.
Like that brand recognition goes so far. And we're seeing it today with influencer marketing. We're seeing it with the Pauls of the world, right? And, Rihanna Fenty makeup. And we're seeing it with like all of these different people who traditionally wouldn't be like product type people, but they get plugged into these products and then we all of a sudden want to buy them, right? And Nike, I think they revolutionized that. Like I think they, more than just the Just Do It campaign, they found ways to get into people's homes and build trust just because of the people who represented their brand, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. What they've been able to do is honestly like definitely change the world of sports for sure. And I don't think, I honestly can't think of like another company that's had that kind of effect on sports. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, the next one, I'm not sure if we should take this, like do a live poll or what, and it might cause some animosity online. Maybe that's a good thing. But are you guys more Coke people or Pepsi people?
Coke.
Coke?
I'm a Pepsi guy.
Oh.
Growing up, like Coke always tasted weird to me. We were a Pepsi family, dude. We always got Pepsi. Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is part of Pepsi, right?
It is.
My dad was a huge Mountain Dew guy. So like we always bought all of the Pepsi products. I understand that Coke is a bigger brand, but like for me, I was Pepsi guy.
Yeah, if we're talking about like the suite of products, I can appreciate Mountain Dew. Like I can, especially growing up. But to me, if you're just comparing Coke and Pepsi, Coke just tastes so much better. Like if you just put them side by side, Coke just tastes
okay. But okay, I agree with you in a bottle. Coke in a bottle versus Pepsi in a bottle. Coke wins 10 out of 10 times. I also agree with you at McDonald's. I mean, nothing is better than a Coke from McDonald's, but a canned Pepsi, try it out, put it next to a Coke. I think you're gonna be amazed. I think you might be like, wow, Pepsi's really got something.
It sounds like you're kind of fighting for a way for Pepsi to taste good, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. Hearing myself say it out loud, I don't believe it as much,
Only in this very restrictive setting is it better.
Yeah.
Everything else is just falling to the wayside.
And Coke has Sprite. Okay, Sprite.
Yes. Okay.
Sprite is a magical drink.
However, have you tried Starry yet?
So,
because I did, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, Tori tried it. My wife. We were in Sarasota the other weekend, and she actually tried Starry, and she said that she liked it. She said it was good.
So, just saying.
I mean, it's basically just a new version of Sierra Mist.
Oh,
sorry.
A little bit more limey, a little more lime,
Okay, yeah. They're not doing.
So this next ad plays on the battle between those two brands and what it means to be competitors. And we've all been, at a restaurant and asked for a Coke.
Is Pepsi okay?
And what do they always? Is Pepsi okay?
And you're like,
exactly.
I'll take an RC, please.
That the feeling though that you get when someone says it's Pepsi okay, like I feel like for the vast majority of people, you get that kind of like, oh. Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine, right? But it's not like you know what? I love Pepsi so much more than Coke. There's like a small percentage of people maybe, but vast majority of people are like, dang it, all right.
Well, what if you order a Pepsi and they say, is Coke okay?
Yeah, but who orders a Pepsi like that? Who says I'll take a Pepsi? You say Coke?
Me.
No.
I don't drink soda anymore, but if I did, I'd order a Pepsi. Yeah. I'd order an RC Cola, please and thank you.
Yeah.
May I have an RC? Can I have a Sam's Club soda? That's what we drank growing up, actually. Sam's Cola.
I'll take a cheer wine.
Hey, no, those are good.
They are good. Cheer wines are good.
All right, Matt, you show us the ad.
That's good.
I'll take a Coke.
Is Pepsi okay?
Is Pepsi okay? Is Pepsi okay? How? Are puppies okay? Is a shooting star okay? Is the laughter of a small child okay? Are you with me? You seem confused. Let's role play. Now.
Okay, I'm Steve. I'm an actor.
No. Just order something.
You
will have a nice cold glass of the best thing you ever tasted. Okay?
Okay.
I think you might be just saying it wrong. You gotta say it with pride, okay? Okay. Oh, yeah, kind of. Pepsi's more than okay. It's okay! Okay, what have we learned today?
You want a Pepsi?
I want a Pepsi.
She wants a Pepsi. There you go. Like Little John. Okay. I've got to come up with my own catchphrase. Okay!
Never seen that, dude.
How have I not seen that? Dude, that was amazing.
That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Carell does the best, like, Michael Scott humor. Michael Scott is Steve Carell humor, but like when Steve Carell does it not as Michael Scott, it's almost even funnier.
Yes.
I agree.
So funny.
I totally agree. So I love that because obviously, like, Coke is synonymous with cola because of the name. And,
True.
if you order a Coke, you're, probably just asking for the drink that tastes like a cola beverage, rather than actually specifying, I'll have a Coca-Cola,
Yeah. Well, dude, dialects wise, like if you go to the South, like my grandpa, for example, from Missouri, he would always say, can I have a Coke? Just meaning a soda. Like he would call a Sprite a Coke in some settings. That's how synonymous it was.
Okay.
And like that's actually true in several southern states. A Coke is just a soda of any kind.
What about a pop? A pop.
Pop is what we said in Illinois growing up, but so there's a line west of the Mississippi River. Pop is like never used, and then like there's like it's weird. But anyways, Coke is synonymous, to your point, Matthew, with soda. Like brand recognition wise, it's like Kleenex. Can I have a tissue? Not as common as can I have a Kleenex? Kleenex is the name brand. You know, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I love it when you can actually just use another brand's branding against it. I think that's really cool. And I just anytime I can just see Steve Carell try and do that, I can't do it either. So I have
let's hear it, Caleb. Let's hear your best.
Is it, wait, are we going for Lil Jon or like what is it, like?
No, we're going for Cardi B, dude. Cardi B is but you can do Lil Jon if you'd rather.
Wait, can you play the Cardi B one? Because I don't know what that sounds like.
Yeah. Go back, Matthew. We need to hear it again.
I need to hear hers. Oh,
yeah. Solid work.
There we go.
Solid work.
That's good.
Thanks. Yeah, that's Puerto Rican coming out.
It's a bit more seamless.
There you go, dude. So I was actually watching Mr. Beast last night. Shout out Mr. Beast. They actually broke the record for most views on a video in a day that wasn't a music video, with this video that they came out with yesterday or the day before, which is they survived 7 days on a raft. Anyways, his brand Feastables, right? This is so genius, and it's the same type of thing as Pepsi's doing here. He said like 2 or 3 lines about Feastables. Now, keep in mind, his target market, apart from me, a almost 30-year-old man who just likes Mr. Beast, is mostly teenage kids, right? Mostly.
Yeah.
So Feastables is, number one, an amazing like idea for a product for him, because like everybody can buy chocolate. He's not doing hard seltzers like, Happy Dad or whatever. He's not doing like energy drinks. He's doing something that kids in the store can ask their parents, can I have a Feastable, right? And their parents be like, yeah, sure. Putting it right next to Hershey's. Hershey's owns the chocolate market. It's like Coke, basically, right? Like Hershey's is chocolate. They're synonymous. Like a Hershey's bar is chocolate. So what does he say in his video as he's going through everything? He goes, if you haven't had Feastables yet, like, what are you doing, man? Hershey's is for the boomers.
Yeah.
Simple as that, right? But that kids at school are going to be like, you have a Hershey's bar, Hershey's is for the boomers, and it's going to become this thing, like just for that one line. You know how much thought they put into that? Like they made it memeable, and they said it in a quick statement, and they turned their competitors' like marketing on its head. I think Pepsi tried to do that same thing here. And in my mind, it succeeded as far as like an entertaining commercial. The problem is everybody already knows Pepsi, right? You've had a Pepsi at one point in time in your life. Caleb, I'm never going to change your mind that Pepsi is better than Coke. I will never do that, right? Because unless they change the recipe, you will, in your mind, will be like, I've already had it. Yeah. Doesn't matter how much money they spend on the campaign. Doesn't matter how many famous people they get to buy into it. Like, it's still Pepsi.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where this campaign fails, because it's like, this is one of those things. This is almost like politics in our country, for real. It's like you're either Coke or you're Pepsi, and that's that. You got to.
If you're smart, you're Coke.
That's what I'm saying, right? And if you're smart, you vote this way, and if you're dumb, you vote this way, and that is the division here.
If you like don't have taste buds, then obviously you're a Pepsi person.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's why this campaign doesn't work for me. Although that was really, really entertaining, but they got to keep it relevant. Yeah. I get that. I'm sure somewhere somebody maybe bought a Pepsi because of it, but like, does it move the needle? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm also a Coke guy, so I just love that ad for the messaging. I think it's just really clever and like subverting and like leaning into something that is, ostensibly a barrier for them. They are having to say, is a Pepsi okay?
Yeah, they leaned into like what they know is weak, which honestly I think is hilarious that we had that conversation before this played, because Matthew, I didn't know that was what the ad was actually going to play off of, and we like had that conversation before you even played it, so it's pretty great.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Dude, that's objection handling right there, Caleb, at its finest. That's a good objection handler. Just outright say the objection that people are thinking, and then handle it.
Yes, so good. It's the way you're saying it. You're not saying it the right way. It's so good.
Is Pepsi okay? No, it's okay. He goes, are puppies okay?
Shooting stars.
So good.
The best thing that you've ever tasted.
All right. So this next one is another sort of, brand going up a bigger competitor and trying to move the needle. It's another, just as much as Coke versus Pepsi. I know that Dakota's obviously recently gone over to the dark side and he's now Microsoft, but are you Microsoft or Apple is a big thing.
I'm still Apple. Like in terms of every product I own is Apple, but just because I got a PC, here's the problem. Apple desktop can't play games and you can't customize it, right? And if you want to customize it, you're going to drop $5,000 on a desktop computer. So that's the only reason why the PC is Microsoft here, Windows. But everything else, I think Mac takes it. I think Apple takes it.
Mm-hmm. So here is Apple's Think Different campaign from, I believe, 1997.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Yeah, dude, that one brings a tear to the eye. That's a good one.
That is a good one. That's honestly a really good one.
So it was originally Richard Dreyfuss that narrated it, but they did that special version after Steve Jobs passed away. So
yeah,
I prefer that one personally. So
that's a really good one. Yeah, I love that they took that angle of the different. And I love the black and white approach too, because what's kind of like a subtle hint at their branding too is like everything that they ever pretty much release always is like silver, like black and white. So I think that that's kind of like a cool little like play on there. But the Think Different thing is so neat because I feel like that's kind of why people in the early days wanted to get a Mac, because it was like different. Like everyone kind of saw every computer that was made, every laptop that was made, but like Mac kind of came out of nowhere. Like, hey, we're different. You can't get viruses. Like it looks different. It looks cooler. It's like just a different way to think about computers. And it's neat to me that they can kind of like play into like the genius side too, which the other thing is they already know Steve Jobs had that reputation of kind of being an oddball. And so instead of like making it a weird thing, they get like, hey, we like are playing into that. Like, yeah, he was an oddball, but that's why we exist. Like, that's why this company is what it is, So pretty cool. I honestly really like that campaign. So,
dude, yeah. If you haven't read Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson, I've never been a big biography guy. On vacation like 4 or 5 years ago, I read the entire thing. It's thick. It's like 600-700 pages. I read it in like 2 days because it was that good, man. Like you start to understand how this guy really did think different, for better or for worse. As they mentioned in that ad, it's like you can love them, you can hate them, but you can't ignore them, right? And that's sort of the idea about a good marketing campaign in itself. It's like we say any press is good press, right? Like in a way, like that is kind of true for a lot of what we see today. Now, of course, you don't want to like egregiously just be in the press for negative reasons all the time, but like there's a reason why like people like Kim Kardashian, they're famous and have billion-dollar brands today when I don't know if you remember what she became famous for at the beginning, but it wasn't something good.
Not ideal.
Right? Not ideal, but it's any press is good press. It's that idea of like the attention is there. And I think like Steve Jobs was the perfect example of like, he just thought different and did things differently to a point that you could not ignore it any longer. And like some of the stuff in that biography, you're like, oh my gosh, he kind of wasn't a good guy. You know, like there's a lot that he did that just wasn't that good. But those are typically the people that like we talk about for years and years and years and years. And I think they did a really good job of showing that in that commercial of all the different faces that popped up. It's like, they're all people we know, but we might not agree on. Right.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool.
But they made an impact, right? Like they showed people who've made an impact on the world.
Yeah.
So
and no one's looking at that and thinking, John Lennon, great guy, you know.
Well, I mean,
really nice friend and a very good husband.
See, that's the thing, right? And it's like, you know, we do that with athletes too. It's like, you know, we expect like Michael Jordan, we'll go back to him. Like we expect him to just be an all around great guy because he's also the best basketball player to have ever played. When in reality, like personal life wise, not that great of a guy. Right. But it's like, he thought differently. He did it differently. And he pioneered a certain thing that we can follow. Martin Luther King Jr., amazing civil rights activist. We've all seen, you know, the movies and stuff on his home life and how there's some problems there, right? It's like I love this campaign because it doesn't put people in a box where it's like, you have to be good all the time. That's what changes the world. It's like, no, we're imperfect humans, but like thinking differently and being unique is kind of what gets us to the point where we can change the world.
It's so cool. Love that.
It's a good commercial.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
All right. This next one's fun. There was a time when Alexander Hamilton was not as in the cultural zeitgeist, I guess, you know, before Lin-Manuel Miranda came along. But this is from one of the most successful advertising campaigns of all time. Not from a specific company, but from a union of sorts. And would later be borrowed by Oreo.
Uh-oh.
But this is the 1993 Michael Bay shot and directed advert for Got Milk.
And that was the Vienna Wood Dance in D, one of my all-time favorites. And now let's make that random call with today's $10,000 question. It's a tough one. Who shot Alexander Hamilton in that famous duel? All right, let's go to the phones and see who's out there.
Hello?
Hello, for $10,000, who shot... Excuse me? I'm afraid your time is almost up. I'm sorry, maybe next time.
Got milk?
Oh my, that is amazing.
Dude, I didn't realize that was the first one. That's so good.
I'm not sure if that was the first video, but it's my favorite.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Dude.
Michael Bay, huh? Wow, great job.
I know, man.
The way he ate
Aaron
that
Burr.
sandwich was so disturbing, though. Like I'm sorry, but like, who eats a peanut butter sandwich like that? Like, no,
Bro, somebody that has an entire house dedicated to Alexander Hamilton, clearly. Bro was getting, it was his moment to shine, and he had no milk to wash down his peanut butter sandwich.
That's like that's depressing. That's depressing.
Depressing. Aaron Burr. Oh man, I gotta go re-listen to the Hamilton soundtrack. That got me in a mood, dude. So the Got Milk campaign actually has like some interesting origins. I don't know if you've read up on this at all, Matthew, but like we all remember it from growing up. I think we also all remember government cheese, right? Like being a concept, like food stamps to get government cheese. Do you guys know that like that's because the government just has paid millions and millions and millions, probably billions of dollars to farmers to make sure that they don't go under. So like making sure that like their milk is super like basically to ensure that farmers didn't go under, they pumped budget into these advertising campaigns so that we would drink more milk, right? So like a big reason why we all drink milk growing up. I haven't had a glass of milk in literally years, but growing up I had one at dinner every night. I had one with breakfast cereal. I had one at lunch in milk cartons. We all did. Why don't we still drink it? Well, probably because it doesn't really agree with us that much when we do drink it. The reason why we drink it is primarily because of campaigns like this, which were funded by the government because they wanted farmers to keep having business. Isn't that insane? Like when you start to put two and two together, you're like, oh my gosh, wait. So literally like I was sort of like persuaded and coerced to drink milk as a child through the government.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It is. It's very strange. I, as a kid, I always used to get Nesquik. So I used to have like strawberry milk and chocolate milk all the time. Like the kind that you would make yourself, you know, like, like either the powder or the syrup.
Have you had Ovaltine?
I don't think so. I have had it, but that's not what we used to buy. But I know I have had it before.
It's Nesquik for people that are age 70 or older.
Yeah, well, when you have a grandma that takes care of you, you have Ovaltine instead of Nesquik. That's the point I'm trying to make. So Nesquik tastes great, but has like no nutritional value. Ovaltine apparently had like all these added vitamins and stuff.
Gotcha.
But dude, we drank milk like it was going out of style growing up.
Yeah, I could never drink like plain milk though. I couldn't drink it. Like
no?
I didn't like the flavor. I always had to have like Nesquik in there, which is just so bad for you.
What about at school, like with lunch?
I would get the strawberry milk or chocolate milk carton.
Yeah. So somebody at one point in my childhood said that the chocolate milk was all of the like leftover bad milk that like had like bad stuff in it that they would just dye and add so much chocolate to that you couldn't tell anymore that it was the bad milk.
It ruined it for you.
So it ruined it for me. So I stopped drinking the chocolate milk. I went just straight, regular milk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either way, we had Michael Bay producing feature-length films to get us to drink more milk as children. So all I'm saying is that's kind of weird.
Yeah. It's strange.
I just think it's crazy that a government would subsidize stuff like that.
Well, dude, like what other product can you point to that's like the government saying, just eat more strawberries? It's like, no, dude, they're not doing that. It was milk. It wasn't like one type of dairy farm or whatever. It's literally just milk in general. The government just wanted us to have more milk.
It's so strange.
I mean, the CIA did bring crack cocaine to Compton, so there is that. But
see, there's links here. We have our conspiracy theorist board out, and we're linking it together, dude. It's like them saying, "Buy more gasoline." It's like, it's just weird.
Yeah, it's strange.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
so I just love that ad because it's not one company; it's just an idea, and
milk.
What an idea like burrows into your mind. And now anyone that eats a peanut butter sandwich like that will never be without a glass of milk,
Well, dude, and you brought up a good point with Oreos, right? Like they really married their whole concept with milk too. And even to this day, JC, like hopefully she doesn't listen this far into the pod. She's pregnant right now, and Oreos are like on her list of like, I like those right now. Yeah. But she has to have a glass of milk with them. And I'm like, it's ingrained into our brains, now.
I won't lie. Like there's something about an Oreo being dipped in cold milk though that is nice. It is so good. Nice. It really is. So that's one of those things that's like the campaign, like, yeah, it might be like weird or whatever, but at the same time, at least that one does like taste good and it makes sense, But like milk by itself, I don't know. I've just never been a fan of it. Ever.
There was a very viral Vice article from 2022, and I believe it was just titled "Adults Who Drink Milk, What's Wrong with You?" and just basically called out as like psychopathic behavior. And I think the tagline was something like, "If you're not a hungry baby, why are you drinking milk?"
Wow. Well, dude, like I haven't gone grocery shopping in quite some time, which I don't know what that says about me, but I went the other day and I was in the milk aisle because JC had sent me to get yogurt. And I'm looking and seeing that regular milk, like, skim 2% whole milk, is actually now right, at least at our Kroger, is right next to the milk alternatives now. And it used to be that you had to really seek out the milk alternatives. Like you're going down some random aisle to find the almond milk or the oat milk or whatever.
I feel like you really haven't gone grocery shopping in a long time.
I haven't.
But telling me the story right now. Because I bought like almond milk and all other milk alternatives for like years and years, and it's been next to the milk for like years.
Yeah, I don't know. I live in my like ivory tower of no grocery shopping over here.
Just tell everyone that you used Instacart, bro. We
do also use Instacart, but
see.
Dude, the problem with Instacart is you order almond milk and they bring you like regular milk. You're like, who does this shopping? You're supposed to figure out, all you do is grocery shop. You should know. Anyways, long story short, I think that shows the shift in America away from traditional milk and into these alternatives, because either A, it doesn't agree with us digestively. B, we're starting to see that like regular milk is basically just sugar water, right? Like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And there's no more marketing campaigns pushing us to just drink regular milk. So, I mean, I think it's all connected. Again, my conspiracy theorist board. But like if Michael Bay was still out here directing like Got Milk commercials, we'd probably all still be drinking milk. I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's like Optimus Prime, just with carrying a gallon of reduced fat, 2%. Yeah.
I want to see a Christopher Nolan Got Milk commercial. What would that look like?
Oh my God. It just shows like interstitials of the milk being produced at different points out of order.
Finished product, step 2, back to finished product, step 1, cliffhanger. All right, what else you got, Matthew?
All right, last one is not one of my favorites, but I just think you can't talk about the most impactful and the most expensive ad campaign without bringing this one up. So this is also directed by a big shot Hollywood director, Baz Luhrmann, who I absolutely detest the movies of.
Shout out Baz.
But
if you're listening to this, we're sorry.
Come on the pod. We'll hash it out. But this is a 2-minute Chanel No. 5 commercial that costs $30 million.
When did I wake into this dream? I must have been the only person in the world who didn't know who she was.
With the disappearance of the world's most famous
Price for the world's
But my world would never be the same again.
Drive.
When she came into my life,
It's beautiful up here. Everything seems so peaceful.
who are you?
I'm a dancer. I love to dance.
It didn't matter. I knew who she was. To me. Come away with me.
I love you.
You must be there tomorrow.
Wait, is this the plot to Moulin Rouge?
It's the right thing to do.
No one can steal our dream. No one. Goodbye.
And then she was gone. Has she forgotten? I know. I will not. Her kiss. Her smile. Her perfume.
How do you wait?
That was $30 million.
How do you think Keith Urban feels about that? Dude, Was that the
Pretty
plot?
good because she got paid $3 million for it,
Oh
so I
my
think he
gosh.
doesn't care.
Okay, so 3 out of the 30 was Nicole Kidman's paycheck. What, 20 out of the 30 was the lit up sign on the New York City skyline? Like, what did they pay for? Like, literally, what was the 30 million? Now, I will say I love the movie Moulin Rouge, but I feel like this was maybe like they took the plot of Moulin Rouge and were like, how can we just take away all the substance and just make it about Chanel? And how much did Moulin Rouge cost to make, Matthew? I need to know that.
I'll look it up.
Because they could have just, made that movie again. I'm trying to look too. Because Moulin Rouge is Nicole Kidman, right?
Yeah, it's Nicole Kidman, it's Baz Luhrmann. It cost $50 million, so $20 million more than this 3-minute commercial.
Yeah, that was awful.
That's so bad. Where I like absolutely lost it is where she just opens the door and she's like, "I'm a dancer. I love to dance." I'm like, what?
Well, see, that's where they were playing on Moulin Rouge, because like that's sort of like, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. I grew up watching it, but essentially that's like kind of the plot of that movie, but in the same director, same actors. So like obviously, and this was like a year after that came out, or 2 years maybe, Matthew, something like that.
2 years.
So they're trying to do something on that movie, but like, wow, poorly done.
Super weird.
$30 million. It's crazy. But I mean, the end part of it actually manages to accomplish quite a lot. It's like talking about what he remembers. Her perfume.
Chanel No. 5.
I don't know like how successful it's been, for Chanel, but
I would assume that it's
pretty
not
successful, I'd imagine.
Well, they're a $10 billion company, so let's see.
They're good for it.
Yeah, $10 billion revenue. Let's see by category real quick here. This obviously is 2022, so.
Did the 30 million count like distribution of the ad, or is the 30 million just the straight up production of like making the ad?
Just the straight up production budget.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that means after they made the ad, they probably spent, gosh, I mean, dude, what a waste of money. What a massive waste of money.
I love to dance.
So here's
she was gone.
She was gone. And all I could remember was her perfume. Here's the problem, man, with awareness ads like that. Caleb, we harp on it all the time. Like I want to see good commercials. Obviously, a lot of the campaigns all the campaigns we saw today, there's no way to measure the impact, right? There's no way to measure, was the money worth it? There's no way to see return on investment. But this one essentially to me was like, unless you really watched the whole thing to the end and saw the number 5 at the end, you don't even know really what they're advertising. All you know is it's just like pretty people falling in love and Nicole Kidman and Chanel. It's like, what are you going to do with that information? There's no actionable like information here, and who actually buys Chanel? It's like the top 1%, basically, maybe the top 5%, but that's not who they're really targeting here. So it's just weird to me. It's like seeing a commercial for like an Audi, on TV. And it's like, what do I do with this information? Like you're either in the market for an Audi or you're not, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't like it, but that's okay. It's just okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Referencing back to Michael Scott.
It's just okay. And it costs $30 million.
It's just okay.
Oh, that was tasty.
There we go.
Those are some good examples there.
Thank you, Matthew.
Really good.
You.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I had a good time.
You can spend all the money in the world and still make a really bad ad.
Seriously, dude. Seriously. Yeah, I think lesson learned today, like from what worked with a lot of those ads, is making it bigger than the product. Right. And I think Chanel swung and missed on that concept. Like they wanted to make it about the romance and the allure or whatever. They could have easily like accomplished that, in my opinion, by like touching more on that last point, which was like, I still remember her perfume. Because we, as 3 men here, I guarantee you we can all remember what it was like, what the smell of our wife was like when we first met or were dating her. Right. Like that's actually a concept of like JC still has the perfume that she had 10 years ago when we were dating. And if she ever like sprays it, I'm like, whoa, where am I? You know what I mean? It's like one of those things of like, holy cow, I don't even remember that, you know, like I couldn't put words to this, but like this means something to me, you know, like
it's funny how smells like are so tied to memory. Like
yes,
there's a study I read on that a long time ago though about like you like out of all of our senses, like smell is one of the ones like tied to like our most vivid memories. It's really interesting.
Yeah, like nostalgia is really driven by smell. Like yesterday, I walked in. We had coffee on the porch outside, and it's really humid here in Tennessee, which is a vast difference from where we were in Arizona. I walk inside from the patio, and like the change in humidity from like outside to inside, I just got hit with like this nostalgia from my childhood at the Lake of the Ozarks. And like we'd sit out on the patio all morning and have coffee with grandma and grandpa and then walk inside of the air conditioning.
So
and
cool.
That moment just like came full circle for me. And it was like, I lived it again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they could have tapped into with this commercial is like, you know, find a way to tell that story because we all have that like human experience of like that a smell can take us back to the place. If you're selling a perfume, like how can you encapsulate that first date feeling or like that first moment you fell in love with your significant other, what they smelled like and all of that.
I got it, dude.
I got it.
So like, I think it's like, do you remember that Google commercial where they did the search results and it was like telling the story of a couple like as they were dating and then like to them getting married and then like it ends with like him searching for like cribs or whatever on Google like, because they're having a baby. I think you could do something like that with the perfume too, where it's like it tells the story of like this woman or actually probably makes more sense from the man's perspective. And it's like him growing up and like remember having one of those flashbacks of his childhood and then to like dating his wife or whatever. And then like it ends with like him like smelling the perfume or whatever. And it takes him back to like their first date, but he's like an old man who's like on his way out or something, you know?
Yes.
Like almost like Notebooks type, like the Notebook, you know, like finishing like that. Dude, that would crush for
So Chanel, if you want AdClass to run this campaign for you, we will only charge you $29 million. So you'll actually save $1 million by going with us. It's a heck of a deal.
We can get the line, "I'm a dancer, I love to dance." In there.
Yeah, we'll have Caleb say that while pirouetting.
We'll hire Ryan Gosling to say it.
Heck of a deal, but you have to act today, Chanel. So if we don't hear from you by tomorrow, it goes up $1 million per day. All right, this has been episode 13 of AdTalk by AdClass. We love hanging out with you guys. If you have enjoyed this pod, please rate us. Please subscribe to us. Please give us some comments in the YouTube section if that's where you're finding us. We want to hear from you guys. We just love making this content for you. So until next time, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Peace.
Keep on dancing.
Keep on dancing.
Love it.
Please.